basically, we're going to take a step back, and in this article from Green Tech Media, what we're doing is we're looking at the lessons that we learned from the 2009 Green Stimulus Bill, the ARA Act, which is American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which offered $90 billion for sustainable energy projects. And it's still being doled out right now. So there were some losses, of course. There's always going to be losses. A big one was Tonopah Energy, and that was something called a concentrated solar power project, because it was supposedly the best technology at the time with the hope to store energy and through thermal batteries. But it's gotten so much cheaper now to do solar that a lot of those kinds of projects, they've gone by the wayside because the technology outstripped them. So what we're learning right here and right now is we're looking at ways in which Green New Deal projects can use those lessons learned to create much better solar energy and onshore wind and utility scale projects with funding. So we're looking at all the ways that we can add to it that would benefit us, such as energy tax credits for renewables, limited partnerships. So it's a good thing. And it just means that for everybody who's trying, like we are with our cars, to move towards a sustainable future, that we're probably going to pick up where we left off that we kind of stopped doing right now and move towards increasing our investment into better technology and better methods to improving our grids, and hopefully reinvesting right here into not just making the energy source projects like solar, but maybe even manufacturing the equipment we need for these projects here in America, which will of course lead to more jobs right here in America. But I think one of the funny things is that people are going to look at the losses, but they've actually managed to earn something like $3.1 billion back in interest payments. And the projected and actual losses are only $1 billion. This is actually a reasonably good return for new technology development. And we're still offering out that money right now. So people think that we just hand it out at one point right there, like once that money is taken in by the government and dedicated to a certain cause, that okay, we take it and the next day we hand out $90 million. Actually, a lot of people have to file their paperwork and put together all the requests for funding, and you're talking years sometimes to get that money in their hands, unless they know people who can speed up that process. So we're still handing out money, and this failure of Tonopah is actually pretty recent. It's just, I think in the article they say this year.
Yeah.
That bankruptcy. Yeah, so that's this year. Now, funding for that project, that act passed in 2009 under George W. Bush, and it started to be enacted in Obama's term. So that's how long ago is that? That's 11 years. Yeah. For us to finally have a bankruptcy from Tonopah. And of course, the technology is outstripping the people that developed those initial projects. Unsurprising.
Yeah, so again, looking at the big view here, Georgia, I think this is exactly right. We have the technology to really make things a whole lot better, but what we don't have is the political will. So, okay, let's look at past successes. How were those accomplished? And what can we learn from those to get new initiatives today to help make a world where we have clean air and clean water? That's great. That's exactly what we should be looking at, how to get the political will in place.
I think the other thing that this presents an opportunity for us, how's the ultimate silver lining guy? Because everybody thinks of me as Mr. Positive.
That's the funniest joke today.
I knew I'd get that reaction. I'm fine with it. Is that, look, we need to get out of the mindset that everything the government's involved with has to turn a profit. In some cases, the government invests our money into things that benefit us as a society, and that's okay. Whether it's a post office that offers postal service to literally every address in the country, which nobody else does, or if it's clean energy projects, which may not turn an immediate profit, may not turn a profit at all, but allows us to develop and deploy better technologies to keep our air and water cleaner.
The only thing
That's the
I'm
rule
going to
of,
say, the only thing I'm going to say to add to that is that, one, the post office, without its pension funding, Michigas, would actually be a profitable separate business, because the post office, without that, not only turned a massive profit, but was self-sustaining and self-funding. But the other thing is, I think a big lesson that I didn't see throughout the article, we should maybe speed up the application process. So hopefully we don't get outstripped by technological developments just because it's taking so much time to get the funding together and organize itself to build the project. Because I really do feel that maybe with the examples given, if it's something as simple that the thermal storage just got outstripped, so that by the time it was up and running, the technology had already improved to the point where they were headed towards a level of either, if not redundancy, then outright, unnecessary, then maybe what we need to do is speed up our development process, and so that these manufacturers, these projects can get started much quicker and get that money into their hands sooner. And seconding 100% what Russell said, because our biggest problem is the idea that we're supposed to run government like a business. We actually do benefit. We benefit far beyond cash and money, because a stable society is one that is not facing governmental turnover through violence, it's not facing disease, it's not facing food shortages. Those create a very unstable society. And it's one of the dumbest things of American capitalism, is that they don't seem to get that a basic amount of socialism allows you to have your wonderful free market capitalism safely. If you take away all other options, well, you know what? You kind of let people know that, what do they got to lose by overthrowing you?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because, I mean, every billionaire in the country, their businesses, their products are delivered on public roads. Their employees, a lot of them were educated in public schools. They have safety and security because of police and fire departments. A lot of this public funding is definitely a huge part of any business's success. And
clean water and food.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Secure and healthy employees. Yeah.